Oh, why don't you understand what HTML does? And why don't you have a proper heading structure in your document? There was an interesting thing that came up on my LinkedIn about how one should learn Webflow. And he talks about that you need to learn the fundamentals of web development, how the browser renders things, what HTML is, and blah, 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 blah. I said a comment, I said, I disagree. I wish it was about learning the fundamentals, but truthfully, I think when you first pick up web development, it's about having fun. I think this is why people gravitate towards web development, because they can write a few lines of code or copy and paste a few lines of code and then see it in the browser and then make a change and then they see it in the browser. It's not like application development where you've got to compile it and you wait for it. You've got to have servers, all this. Web development is so fun because it's that instant feedback loop which you get. And I argued that I think it's about finding your passion for web development before diving into a 6-hour bloody foundational tutorial, and at the end of it you might be like, not for me. Go out there and have fun.
100% agree. We had this in university. I remember we had C, and we had to basically take some numbers and do some operations on them. It was not all that fun because I still like visuals, but web development, especially like with something like Webflow, you just get in, new project, then you get into making the whatever that you make and then publish it. You get results really fast. As you said, you see something really fast. And what I add to it is that you can potentially also start earning from it really fast. And then the development part is what comes next, because you are just adding a div block, but next thing you ask, what is a div block? And there are different HTML tags. I can add any HTML tag in Webflow. I can use a custom element. You open the door into development where you don't just add things and animate them with the Webflow animation engine, but you can introduce code and do complex stuff. You can get information from the user, send it somewhere, do something. All of a sudden, it's extremely fun. That for me is the sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure. And you are going to get people who they just want to grab a quick paycheck and they just want to build a website. They don't care if there are 20 billion divs that make up a header. That's with any industry, and that's just human nature in general. You're going to get the coasters. Every single person can probably point out a coaster in their particular bit of work. And then you've got the true artisans who really care about what they do. They're going to shine and they're going to do the best in their career. So it's like, yes, it's frustrating to see that, why don't you understand what HTML does? And why don't you have a proper heading structure in your document and all this kind of stuff? But letting go of those people, they're going to coast, and more power to them if they can earn a buck while creating shitty websites. This is part of a larger conversation on my show, Command AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.